You know how some movies don't shout for your attention, they just command it. Outland is that kind of film. Peter Hyams takes what could have been a basic sci fi cop story and turns it into a slow burn thriller about isolation, corruption, and dignity. On paper, it feels like high noon in space, but once you step into the mining colony on Io, Jupiter's volcanic moon, you realize that this film isn't just about copying anything, it's stripping sci fi back to oxygen, steel, and fear. Sean Connery plays Marshal William O'Neill, newly assigned to a remote mining outpost. He is supposed to keep the peace, sign the forms, and look the other way. But O'Neill isn't built for compromise. Connery plays him like a man who has already lost too much to give up one more inch of integrity. His body is tired, but his soul isn't. What's brilliant is that the station itself feels like a character. Cold corridors, overcrowded mess halls, sweat, noise, and corporate indifference. Hyams shoots the environment with a kind of paranoid intimacy, like a long trekking shots down the narrow aluminum tunnels, faces pressed against foggy helmet visors, oxygen alarms echoing like a countdown to nothingness. Nobody tells you that this colony is dangerous, but you feel it. Then the deaths start. Miners are hallucinating, tearing off their helmets, walking into vacuum like moths into flame. The company wants it to be covered up, but accidents happen. But O'Neill sees what no one else wants to admit, that people are dying because profit matters more than oxygen. Now this is where Connery elevates the entire film. O'Neill isn't a sci-fi action hero. He's a man who refuses to compromise in a place where compromise keeps you alive. Every decision isolates him further. For example, even his wife can't understand why a man would choose principle over survival. She leaves the colony with their son in the first act, and Connery says nothing. His silence is the wound. Frances Sternhagen plays Dr. Lazarus, a medical officer with the best cynical dialogue in the film. She becomes O'Neill's reluctant ally not because she believes in justice, but because she respects someone who does. When she looks at him and says, "You really are one of the good guys," it lands like a confession. The film escalates slowly, building pressure instead of explosions. Then O'Neill discovers the truth, that the company is supplying amphetamine like drugs to the miners to keep productivity high. Productivity equals profit, and the death is just collateral damage. When O'Neill confronts his superior, the station manager played by Peter Boyle, the entire film, which crystallizes into one sentence. "These people are dying." Boyle doesn't blink. "They are workers," he says. Now that's what happens. Now that's the film's horror. It's not the space, not drugs. It's indifference. The final act becomes a countdown thriller. Hitmen are arriving on the next shuttle. O'Neill is outnumbered with zero backup. He knows he's going to die. He fights anyway. Now the confrontation is quiet, tactical, and lonely. Gunfights don't really roar in this film. They actually echo. Hyams doesn't film action like a spectacle. He films it like a sequence. Every ricochet reminds O'Neill that even the station wants him gone. And it all leads to that iconic sequence. Connery alone, in a pressure suit on the outside of the station, the black of Jupiter behind him. Nothing but metal rails separating him from the vacuum death. No CGI, no green screen trickery, just pure cinema and tactile tension. Now, when it comes to the Arrow Video 4K UHD release, the Arrow Video treats Outland like it deserves to be rediscovered. From the moment you pick up the limited 4K slipcase, you know this isn't just a lazy catalog dump. The key art shows Connery isolated against a sterile industrial geometry on a mining colony. A visor reflecting floodlights, shotgun in hand, a lawman swallowed by machinery. Now the texture of the slipcase has a matte premium finish. Arrow collectors really love that. And the spine looks gorgeous next to Alien or Blade Runner, the Thing. It's a natural family. Now when you open it up, Arrow gives you a 4K restoration from its original camera negative. a Dolby Vision HDR10 that keeps the deep blacks in the station corridors, neon signages glowing with life. There's also lossless DTS HD master audio that brings the alarm, klaxons, and oxygen warnings to life. There's also archival director commentary by Peter Hyams, new interviews with cast and crew, reversible sleeve featuring the original theatrical poster. Now, if you get the first pressing, Arrow includes a fold-up poster, the perfect bound booklet with essays about Hyams' visual style and influences. And yes, they finally give credit to how Outland influenced The Expanse and Dead Space. Now, this is the version physical collectors really want. The film finally looks the way it should have in 1981. On 4K, the station lights flicker with real color separations, and 4K Connery's face reveals exhaustion that the DVD never really showed. Hyper sharp, clean grain, no DNR scrubbing, cinematography is restored, suspense is preserved. Now, why Outland still matters today? Now, some movies predict the future by accident, and Hyams wasn't trying to make a prophecy, but he made one anyway. Corporate ownership of human labor, addiction disguised as productivity, a society where the values of life depends on the profit it generates. This film is 1981 on paper, but 2025 has its meaning. O'Neill fights not just against hitmen, it's against apathy. In space, no one can really hear you scream. In Outland, no one bothers to listen. Now, this movie is a must-watch.